move now to see the highlight of this presentation. Today I will talk about background of Mr. Algaddafi, and I will explain the aim and objective of this presentation, and I suggested that is you separate both cases where the Montfort University is different from the University of Leicester, but in this presentation we will discuss both cases. The first case will be case of the University of Leicester. I will explain the system which I have developed, and I will start explain when the problem starting at the University of Leicester, and the problem it is continue due to bias and irregular procedure by Dr. Hans Blies. We will see the response of case handle now and recently, which in September in May 2018 about the case and what she explained about the University of Leicester. Also, the second cases will be the Montfort University, and we will explain how the problem is developed until they terminate my registration. We will also present a possible solution and recommendation for the court to solve the problem. We will draw the conclusion at the final. Their draft order should be taken in consideration if no solution will be suggested. The draft order, because Michael Edward Ian Young, he helped the Montfort to provide a forward document for independent office. Let me move now to background. My name is Ali Algaddafi. I do swear by Almighty God, that is myself and book, and this presentation are true and correct to best of my knowledge. I want to be in your mind, I am not defendant and response for the claim. I am as well a claim and claimant and request my right. So don't consider that as I will just respond. I am asking for my right. I want to get PhD. I want to get compensation about the period. This is what I want. I want also, if they don't give me PhD, refund all tuition fees with full compensation. I am consider myself first person in the world who bring independent office for the court. This is first case in the world. Actually, there is no student have been ever terminated from the Montfort University due to registration form except me. I have published 29 academic articles, including book, journal, conference, and I have been also appointed as editor review for a number of journals, and I have been invited to be a chair for conference, different conference around the world. My aim it is to obtain PhD. We don't need to get a problem. We need just to get PhD, which I will deserve. Main objective is to improve transparency and the quality of higher education. I present my case truly and with transparency, get full compensation, including medical condition which I have got from this problem. Prevent illegal procedure in higher education system against students in the future. Also, we try to give guide for PhD student and those who face bias and irregular procedure in higher education. And I try also to develop a new way to moderate professional conduct in higher education. Let me see the first case of the University of Leicester. Actually, I passed first year, and you can see from this slide that is the letter confirmed that is the graduation review panel. I have been passed successfully in first year, so I continue as PhD. This was in 2014. Let's move now, see what I have achieved at the University of Leicester. I used to be employee at the University of Leicester in various roles since 2013 until 2016. used as well to be blackboard investigation invigilator at the University of Leicester. And let's move now to see the system, how I develop it. This is my system. We use a couple of inverter and how to connect the network and testing the power quality, which is a real system in the world, how to storage in the battery, how to see the attraction of PV emulator in real life. I test this system here in the lab. I test it outside in real life, which no one has ability to do it. This first student who do it at the University of Leicester, the other test, they don't do the same system. I never see the system similar to the system, which is combined the inverter, which is feed the battery, and the other system it is supplied from PV emulator, which I have developed, but it doesn't include it. You will find it on the left side, but it doesn't come in this picture. What happened while I was in third year, I found that is my supervisor, Hans Blies, which made me unhappy. Who wrote the assessment letter and he sent to the head of department, which is not acceptable. The supervisor should not be assist the student, but when you see this one, you will find it is make me madness. It's not easy. He write some word. It is impossible to be a supervisor and write it. It's like personal issue. If you read it or scan, he put all things negative. I don't know what he can do with me while he wrote this report. When you see it say he doesn't have English, he doesn't many things. It is make me unhappy and addressed significant. He wanted me to cover everything. What he can do? He just write and he doesn't know what he write. It's not a proper situation. Immediately when I read this one, I ask for a change supervisor. We don't need him. When I asked to change him, he continued to follow me and harassment me and make many problems. You see, I want from you to scan and read a little bit about this one. What he said, lack of robustness in his argument and lack of fundamental understanding of subject. What is this? What is he talk about? I am teaching him many times. I explain for him when he did mistake. I don't know why he said lack of robustness. His argument. Now my publication is more than him. I don't know how he bring this statement. I said, okay, if he do this one, I reply with every sentences for this one and explain with detail, with evidence. Hans, this is not first time for him to do it. He did with other students, but with me, it's different cases. I'm in third year, so I don't need to make a problem that time, but I wrote report and there was option to move forward to complete my PhD and avoid the problem with him. Then what's make me unhappy, the work he said here in this page, it is invalid or other. I submitted it for conference and two conference and it has been accepted, which make me unhappy. That is the head of department, Professor Helen Atkinson. She asked the conference to keep, if you can read this one, what she said. I understand that student of our Mr. Algaddafi has had paper accepted for your conference, and he gave the number of the paper. I would be grateful if you could let me have a copy of the paper at Department of Academic, have no knowledge of it. I would also be grateful if you could keep this request confidential at least at this stage. Why Professor Helen make this statement? She is head of department and she doesn't know about my area, and she knows that is the problem between me and Hans Blies. Why she asked the conference to be at least confidential, at least at this stage? It's not proper. But definitely if you read now the response of the conference, they said Thank you for your query. However, before I proceeded with sharing a copy with you, I need to know if our supervisor or director of study of a student also as per data protection. Data protection, it will be difficult to share the information with someone except corresponding author. If Professor Hanan asks me, I will give her a copy of paper. She doesn't ask me, she just come behind me and she make a problem. I don't know. I am not happy about this one at all. When I read this one, I found that I am in an unfair treatment, which make me unhappy at the University of Leicester. The conference, when I found this email by Sadali, maybe they don't send it to me directly, but when Hans got my paper and he starting review, make himself clever. I don't know why he makes himself clever. My report was with him many times. I don't know why he doesn't peer review my report and make comment in my report. Why he make himself clever and review my paper after it's accepted. My paper accepted by professor. What is relation for Dr. Hans to check my paper? This is the other cases, but I asked the conference to reject my paper, and suddenly the conference said the paper will be free and they publish it free without any cost. You can see and read this one. Now let us come and see now the relation with the level of Hans and prejudice of Hans. This is the first picture you see in the top left. This is the paper of Hans. You cannot read the result because there is no reference. Hans, he reviewed my paper, his paper, and he first author. He wrote the result without knowing what is indicated for. I don't know if the reader will understand this graph for Hans or not. On the left, on the top, you will find the other paper for one student with me, and Hans passed this guy, and he like a prejudice. You can see it here in the bottom of this figure. On the left side, you will find this is my result, and Hans, he said the frequency it is 50 hertz, and he doesn't know what he said. He just talked. My paper, which is reviewed by Hans and said my paper is not acceptable and make propaganda while I was in third year. I don't like to speak too much that time. This paper has been reviewed by Neil Brown, and you can see here what Neil Brown said. That he said the paper is absolutely fine and give the papers. You can read this one from the handout which I gave to you. Let us move now and see how Hans or his student stole my idea. In the top you will find this is my system which I've modeled it. It is a standalone inverter with two loops, the capacitor loop which is controlled by proportional, and the second loop it is controlled from capacitor. I did this model and I've designed the controller which is published in journal. However, Hans later he see my paper in ResearchGate. He stole my idea. He attempted to publish it in IEEE, but fortunately I found this paper. It has been rejected, and see how he stole my idea. It's similar. And now the University of Leicester said he doesn't steal my idea. If you compare this figure with this figure, you will find it. And here, even he doesn't know how to find gain and integrated gain as well. He find it random, which when you see his result in the paper, it doesn't make sense because it takes too long time to control. This is one thing I found it at the University of Leicester. And because Hans, we challenges with him, so this is academic. He said for me, bad thing about me, let him see now. The University of Leicester should investigate in this case, but unfortunately the University of Leicester doesn't bring Hans for this investigation, or doesn't like me to discuss these cases with him. See the response of the handle of independent